Well, it's that time again, listeners. Harry has pressed play and record on our little cassette tape, and we are back again for another episode of the Countersteam podcast. Welcome on into episode 82. My name is Matt Lacey, and I am joined as always by half of my co-hosts. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Harry Sermon.
Hey, yes, good evening, mate. Just
Good evening,
the two of us.
Just the two of us. Yes, we should announce that Jay we couldn't get the dates to work to get us all three of us online again, recording this episode. Jay is currently enjoying a large glass of red wine and some pasta in Italy. He's out there doing some work for Rock School. I think he's doing some grade school examining type stuff, and he looks to be having a whale of a time in Italy. Not quite as far as China this time, but we're very jealous. But yeah, he's a busy man. He was running around all weekend and then got on a flight and then disappeared to Italy. So you are left with just myself and Harry this evening, and we'll get as we get stuck into a topic in a moment. Being adaptable is which we are adapting tonight, just the two of us.
Ever adapting.
We're always adapting.
You know.
So yeah, Jay is away in Italy having a wonderful time. Harry, have you got anything new? I don't think you have.
I've not got anything new. No, not at the moment. Soon, maybe.
Soon.
Soon, maybe soon.
Soon, maybe soon. There's a song in there somewhere.
Yeah,
soon,
but no, nothing to share with. However, though, we have some incredibly exciting news. There's getting married, there's having kids, and then there's this. I would say in the order.
I've done them. So yes, I know what you're referring to now. Yes, well, I've done.
So funny enough, have to compare them.
yeah. Well, I have done all three in that order now, so I can confirm. So lay
it on us. Here we go.
Lay it on us. Yeah. So very excited to announce that at the date of this release, 3 or so weeks ago, I signed up with Diodario as a Promark and Evans educating artist. So
yes.
I'm now an endorsee or an endorser, I should say, of Evans and Promark. So I'm very excited about that and looking forward
to... Round of applause button.
Press. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So, very excited there's quite a few somethings new on their way. I'd like to thank very much Ben Aldred at Diodario, and also my good buddy Bob Wynn up in Rotherham, who has been I've been chatting with for quite a few weeks and months. It's been quite a long, just a long conversation and relationship really with Ben and with Bob, and but very very flattered and honoured, and to be being added to the family of Promark and Evans players, if you wish. I'm not going to have I don't think I'll be getting a signature stick like Eloy.
You never know.
No,
you never know.
He's definitely not an educating artist. He is the man, and he will sell a lot of those sticks. Yes. But yeah, so that is my something new news, but lots of stuff to show in the future. I'm excited for some products coming my way to have a go with. And try a few different heads on a few different things, and they're really supportive of kind of education stuff I'm doing with all the kids I work with, etc. So I'll be doing some more bits and bobs with that over the summer as well, I think. So I'll have more to share then as well.
Super great. Can we quickly, before we move on to the main topic, can we maybe what the main rig is, or what the go-to stick is from obviously either Evans or Promark at the moment? What's in the hands a lot, on the kit?
On the kit when I'm playing, I'm using the Marco Minimum signature stick. So that's great. On the pad, I'm using the AB Rebound, which is slightly bigger than the Marco stick. It's probably on the kind of the thicker side of just past halfway between an A and a B. So
Okay.
it's a little bit heavier. And I like that just on the pad. I feel like I'm getting more of a workout from it. Been talking to Ben about the stuff I play with jazz. I think the Marco stick's probably a little bit too heavy for what I want. So he's going to send me a couple of sticks to have a go with, not least of which I think I'm going to have a go with the Anna Canilis signature stick, because it's, again,
Cool.
7A barrel or round tip, slightly different taper. It's kind of like a concave taper, if you like. It's not, it comes in and goes out, but again, just slightly thicker than a 7A. So he suggested that to me to have a go with. I may have a go with the Klaus Hessler stick, or just a standard 7A, really. So I'm quite interested in having a go with their brushes, because obviously I play a lot of jazz stuff with brushes, so I'm going to have a look at those as well. But yeah, really, I'm just kind of quite keen to get some sticks for me to try and recommend to my students. And I've always been recommending Evans practice pads for as long as I have, and I've always been sending people up to either online or directly to Rattle and Drum in Derby, because they stock
Legends.
Stock a lot of Evans stuff. So Coty G2s on all my kits at the moment, and I'm just been suggested. Well, I've asked for Ben's advice on what resos to put on, because I've got some very old reso heads on. So whether I go with the G1 or whether I put something on a bit thinner, like the Reso 7, I don't know. But that remains to be seen. But I'm looking forward to what comes my way. I'm going to try an EQ3 coated batter head for my kick, and also a 56 calf tone head for my bop kit, jazz bass drum. So
classic.
Yeah, so some exciting stuff coming our way. I'll kind of, once I've made all my final choices and bits and bobs, I will let you all know. Definitely, yeah. Thanks for asking that, mate. Yeah,
super exciting. Yeah, can't wait to hear and see it.
Yeah, super cool. Looking forward to it. Looking great. It's all good. We should. Well, I'm adapting to all the bits and bobs coming my way. We should probably get stuck into the topic.
Yes.
Cool.
Being adaptable.
So, I mean, there's so many directions we could take this conversation in. I think there's no such thing as a standard gig, I think. And it's one of those things where we can teach, and I know we've touched on this before, but we teach people to play the drums, and people can play the drums, but actually doing the gig, when you turn up and it's not exactly how you want it, that's where you're learning to be a musician. Because I mean, we've talked in the past about shiny floor. From now on, I'm going to bring a mat.
Yeah,
and I know that's an equipment thing, but it's just all that stuff you can't second guess nowadays, and you've got
you learn the hard way.
Yeah. And whether it's a really tight stage, or perhaps it's a slightly different lineup of musicians, it's all there's no such thing as playing the song the same every time with the same equipment in different places. I mean, a kickoff for me, before I kind of throw it back at you, Harry, is what I found really useful was to go to jazz jams or jam sessions, whether it be straight up jazz or just fusion, funk, pop, whatever people wanted to come up and play, and going to play different people's kits, and not wanting to, or avoiding, or not being able to adjust anything, and then play with what you've got there and then. And that you really focuses you on, and a lot of the time I actually tend to play better, I think, because I'm so focused on where's the center of the drum, where's the hi-hats, where's the ride. You're putting so much effort into thinking about where everything is, it actually can bring out better playing, I think. But but that was a thing for me in terms of getting used to imperfection in your setup, and where things are. What kind of, I mean, you do a lot of play with a lot of different bands, you do a lot of function stuff. What's the kind of key of 2 or 3 things that come round regularly that that you're going to have to kind of go with whatever happens on the night or the location or I mean, you had a tiny stage I saw like
a
2
couple
weeks
weeks
ago.
back. Yeah. It was it was like a really thin stage, and if you're kind of looking at it, you had like guitar player on one side, bass player on the other side, and the desk, singer at the bottom of the stage, and I was going to go in the middle. And I'd only brought kick, snare, hi-hat, ride with me because I knew it
Right.
was going to be small. And I'd done a couple of gigs like that, and I was like, I was really into it. Just so happened I had a little run of gigs where there wasn't a lot of space, and I was like, I'm just going to roll with this. Seeing Steve Jordan at the UK at the Europe Drum Show, I was like, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is a nice way to challenge yourself to be adaptable. See people do these weird, crazy, minimal setups, or whatever. You see Nate Smith with the Fearless Flyers, and it's just kick, snare, hi-hat in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I adapted, and I went on the far side, looking down the stage, but didn't have enough space to have my ride over the right hand side, so I had to have it in the middle, like where you had to have a racked on.
Right.
So that was quite fun. But yeah, just quickly on your point before I answer a few of those other about the setup thing. I was at a wedding on Saturday as a guest, and we had, which doesn't happen very often, and had some friends band playing the evening. I recommended my friends. They were looking for a band. They booked these guys. It was amazing. Some of my friends were also on that gig, so it was really, really fun. It was very weird being on the dance floor for like, Mr. Brightside and A Bait Look Good on the dance floor, and doing the dance to the Tina Turner song. I can't remember whatever the name is.
Simply the Best.
No, not that one. What is it? Oh, Proud Mary, of course it is.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm glad you got it right before I thought of another one.
I'm glad it wasn't Simply the Best. Oh my goodness. But we did a little surprise secret set, and it was jump up. I brought my sticks. I was able to plug into plug in my in-ears and plug into the guy's pack.
Right.
Tom Gilks, shout out Tom Gilks, legend. And I had his in-ear mix, which was amazing. But yeah, literally I didn't touch the kit. I think I maybe brought the hi-hat stand slightly closer, but it was very straight,
Right,
and things cymbals were high and rides were low and so on. And it was very not how I would set things up, but I could play it really well, and it was really nice, and it brought out a couple of different things. And I was like, I'm not gonna, try to get myself super comfortable. I'm just gonna sit down, plug in my headphones. Can I hear anything? Yeah, okay, cool. In-ears are in, let's go.
Yeah, right, cool.
And I think you just enjoy things a little bit differently, just enjoy the night. I wasn't worried about the drums. I was playing, everyone was having fun. I was watching everyone, and the rest of the guys in the band and so on. It was just cool, adapting a setup is a huge challenge, a huge challenge. But regarding about function setups and different bands and all that sort of stuff, I think the key thing to kind of establish when you're playing with different people, but maybe there's similar songs, is, well, two things. Who are we kind of going off of?
Yeah.
If we're not regimented to click, if we're not, literally following the album version or live from Shea Stadium 86 or whatever it is, note for note, who is the MD? Who's kind of leading the charge here? Is it no one? Because if it's no one, I'll step up and kind of eyeball everyone for endings and so on. I think that's a really good thing to establish early doors. I mean, ideally, maybe before you get on stage. And just like you said already, like we talked about before, just endings and how, because there are so many songs that everybody plays, but so many people, because they played them for so long, they played them into the ground, they just do their own things naturally.
Yeah.
Whether it's a double time outro, or they actually go into like 3 different songs in the bridge and then they come back around.
Yeah.
Those things will happen on autopilot, and they won't even have the foresight to tell you, because it will just be so ingrained.
Yes.
And I think if you're on a gig like that, trying to have the communication beforehand, even if they just go, oh, it's really easy, I'll eyeball you, you'll be fine, you go, okay, cool, I'll just play through, and then I can just have my eyes and ears open.
But at least someone then is teeing you up to watch out for the communication. They're not just leaving you to be telepathic.
And just hope that you'll maybe remember, or checked out some weird audio they sent you,
Yeah, or some other bands don't even think they do it differently. because, as you say, they've got so into their vibe, they've
Yeah.
forgotten where they started, and
Yeah.
the song has kind of migrated to a whole different version, and they
Yeah.
can't understand why you don't know their version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can be a little bit.
It
Yeah,
happens a lot, I think I've noticed, not actually necessarily on drums, but I've noticed quite a lot of like songs, for example, like Summer of '69.
yeah,
The bass doesn't come in when the drums come in, but so many people do come in there. But
yeah,
there are a few people where the bass player will come in and they'll turn around and go, eh?
yeah.
Why have you
What are you
come in
doing?
there? Sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or the opposite is expecting them to come in and they've not, just a few sort of little moments like that where I've
yeah,
noticed them like, oh, that's really interesting that, you know, yeah.
yeah. And it's. I mean, I know from. I mean, a big thing for adaptation is we talked about it briefly before we press record, but sound limiters and
Yeah.
having to change, how you play and play very control strokes and just keep
Mm.
everything. I mean, I had a band that said, "Oh, maybe bring some hot rods," and I'm like, "I'll have them in my
Rather
bag,
not.
but they're really thin, and it would just sound terrible."
Yeah.
And then we did the sound check, and I played with 7As. I think I might have just played with my NE ones or what I was using at the time, but they're like, "Oh, that's fine, yeah, yeah, yeah," because
Yeah.
I'm playing quickly, but I'm playing
Everything's super
quietly.
low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's a
just
technique thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Having the technique and to be able to adapt,
yeah,
not think about what you're playing, just keeping everything
exactly.
very controlled.
Focus on the dynamic rather than the notes,
Mm,
and again, that's from experience of kind of
mm,
having to play quietly in the background or whatever, and being able to do that it is.
mm.
But again, that's like, oh, we do a medley, and you're like, oh god, right, okay.
Yeah.
Have you got any audio? No, no, but it just after the second verse of this, it goes into this, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, just try and keep time.
The understatement of it just does this
Yeah,
or it's
yeah,
just this, and you're like, yeah, brilliant.
yeah,
But just quickly on that though, because
yeah,
we've had this light discussion with a couple of our other fellow drummers, in our drum group and so on.
yeah,
But I think tempo is another thing that you've got to be adaptable for.
yeah,
Not necessarily, in a, I guess, in like a negative way, but I think a lot of the time the drummer does get the brunt of the things feeling too fast or too slow.
yeah,
And I think there does have to be an element of, you know, kind of assessing, especially when it's a new group of people, assessing the surroundings when you've started and gone, is anyone looking at me? Is it too
yeah,
fast or too slow? Is everyone kind of into it? Are we pretty relaxed by,
yeah,
hopefully before verse one? And just kind of assessing that and being okay and not maybe taking it personally as such to increase or decrease the tempo. Because
yeah,
obviously everyone hears and feels things drastically different. They might be used to a drummer that, without them realizing, really pushes the beat and really
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
gives everything energy, or the opposite, really drags things behind. And as
yeah,
soon as you're too metronomically tight for them, you
yeah.
have to just be able to slot into that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been asked to slow down. Been asked to speed up on gigs by the
Mm,
bands I've been in and depths. And again, that's where like, oh yeah, I'm playing the version I play with another band, and they like it a lot quicker. And
yeah,
especially if it's a drum intro, I'm playing like a train beat
classic.
on the rim of the snare or something for like a ZZ Top song or whatever.
Mm,
But and then I've had bands I've played in for years, and I remember the guy would put his hand behind his back, the singer, and he'd give me the wind up signal going a bit
yeah,
faster, and you're like, okay, yeah, but then it's that thing of fair enough, I'll go a bit quicker, but you can't just jump.
no,
You've got
yeah,
to just kind of right. Well, we're just going to push it naturally through the verse or through the first chorus, and maybe
yeah,
I'll push the fills a bit and it just gets the momentum. And you're like, fair enough. Hold
mm,
my hand up. Maybe I should have
yeah,
started plumb on, the right tempo or near enough at the beginning.
mm,
Um, but I think it's that thing. I mean, I did a dep many, many years ago, and I know we were chatting on the group, and I didn't mention this at the time, but where the MD had kind of counted us in, and then the singer. I mean, she didn't look at me all night. She didn't. Then I found out after the gig that um, I was depping for her boyfriend. so,
oh.
so her, her, Her boyfriend was the drummer, and I think he was ill, and I was depping for him, or very close friend, or I got the
Something
vibe
like
that she
that.
was very close with him or something,
Yeah.
and yeah, she didn't like the fact that there was another drummer on the gig. I don't think, but I know you've had it where, well, maybe you haven't. Maybe I misinterpreted the message, but where the MD said speed up and the singer saying slow down,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And
well,
yeah.
yeah,
I've had it loads of times, yeah, where, one person, like you said, the singer is giving you the let's go, just give it a bit more. And then you turn to the other people and they're like, no. And they do this all the time, sort of thing.
yeah,
Or you do that and then you turn to the other person and they're trying to eyeball you, the bass player's trying to eyeball you, like, God, this is quick, slow it down a little bit,
yeah,
Or they don't say anything and you get a comment afterwards and you just, you're in a fighting competition between that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I've known people to full on stop or, say that, if I will take directions from one person,
yeah,
I'm not gonna stand there between you telling me to speed up and you telling me. So, I will play it at my tempo, and if you don't like it, then don't book me again, sort of thing.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that is to some degree fair, but I still think you do have to be adaptable and sort of go with the flow. I think equally, if you look around and you're playing a fairly dancey track and people aren't dancing, by all means, give it a little bit more juice,
Yeah,
and shift
yeah,
the tempo and see if that makes a difference. I don't know about you, I feel like a lot of that particular situation is very much based on the way that it's communicated.
sure.
Because
Yeah,
I think I know I've played with quite a lot of people that does happen, and again, it's nothing personal. Um,
yeah,
but the way that they go about that and the way that they communicate that is not sort of in an angry way or in a sort of passive aggressive way. There's a great bass player I love playing with. My friend Zach plays with Taney Lord. Plays actually, funny enough, in the function band that was playing on the weekend, and he's just got such a brilliant way of. If he wants you to speed up, he'll kind of come over to you and just sort of nod a little bit more,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of get into it a little bit more. And then if he wants you to slow it down, he'll just come over and just lean back a little bit and just kind
yeah,
of relax. And he's doing so much without really saying anything.
yeah. It's really good
Um,
because he's communicating
wi-
to you without letting on to anyone.
exactly, and
Yeah,
that visually you can miss that, as you're watching a
yeah.
band, and then all of a sudden it, just slides or jumps forward a little bit.
And he's
Um,
coming from a position of wanting to help, not
exactly.
not coming from a
Yeah.
position of ego where he
Yeah.
needs to prove that he's right and you're wrong.
Yeah, I've got the power, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because that's another thing. There
And that's
are
because
there
he's
are
a bass
people.
player. He's a bass player,
Yeah.
not, dare I say it, a guitarist or a singer.
No, no. He is a keyboard player as well.
Well, right,
He's very much a multi-instrumentalist,
well,
but he
brilliant.
lives in that world of the rhythm section, and I
Yes,
think he's got great feel and he's got great ears for all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
And there's been times where we've been playing and I've gone, do you know what? I'm going to give it a bit more here. And he's like, whoa, this is fun, yeah, I love it,
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing. Um,
I've
but
found,
yeah, I mean, we do use the God mic and stuff like that sometimes,
yeah,
where we're talking to each other over our ears and stuff. But I just love the way that communication is delivered. I think it's great.
yeah. I mean, I done when I played with jazz bands, whether I've been asked to come in and step in and do. Funnily enough, I've decked for my dad. My dad couldn't do a gig, and I ended up doing the gig for my dad, which is nice
Yeah,
to do as well. But I found with bands that are less experienced, weekend warriors, hobbyists,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it, no shade on their playing per se, but just have slightly less experience in terms of understanding
that's the
how
key.
the thing of communicating on stage works. They they've all often found that if they think a song's too slow or too quick, if we have a rehearsal or whatever, or they'll say at the end, or they'll say to me halfway through, it's too quick.
Mm.
Okay, well, I'm trying to slow down, but the double bassist is flat out.
Yeah,
And I played with a band that they did a lot of the double bassist. I think one of the guitarists used to play a lot of gypsy jazz Django Reinhardt,
Right.
which is very jing, 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 jing,
Yeah, yeah.
really, really quick. And that was their tempo. So
Yeah.
that's what they played at. And you're like, no, we're doing Autumn Leaves, or we're doing Cantaloupe
This
Island.
is a ballad.
Yeah, it's just not, we're doing Misty. It ain't that quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to look to the bass player. I'm like, and I've thought, what do I do now? Because I'm the dep. Do I play with them? In which case, the thing is likely to go like a snowball. It's going to to go over. Or do I hold my ground and like, no, guys, you've got to sit back with me. And then you get other people in the band look at me like, oh, Matt, you're
dragging.
You're not. Yeah, you're not playing with the band. No, you're right. I'm not, because I'm trying to hold you.
Because you're
back.
not.
Yeah, because you're playing ahead of me.
Yeah.
But when I play with far more kind of like professional jazz musicians, and like they're playing nationally, and they all know that it's a collective responsibility in terms of tempo, and they're great at communicating. They'll all take responsibility for the tempo. If I'm counting in, I'm like, I'll give them a 2 and 4 click. Does this feel about right? And they're like, just up a bit. Because you talk about, you say medium swing, and that could be anything from 140 to 220, So they're far more adaptable to that kind of situation of me being new or different and the way that they communicate, but they all take kind of collective responsibility for that stuff. Whereas other bands I played with, they just expect it to be like they're playing to the record or the backing track that they've rehearsed to.
Or even to themselves with kind of no, conscious sort of link, I see it a lot in a lot of the kids I teach still, where they can play.
Yeah.
But they are somewhat oblivious to just what's going on. They'll start and they'll be off, whether it's drums, guitar, whatever. Yeah. And then about halfway through, they just kick into 5th gear and they're off. And they're like, I played everything right. I didn't lose the notes. And I was like, yeah, but we, to put it in drum, we played at 100 BPM and you played at 130,
Yeah.
You went wrong, and it's, I get it a lot of times when drummers are doing just sort of simple, 8th note beat or quarter note beat or whatever between the hi-hat, kick and snare. And they'll have the snare on 1 and 3. They're not technically playing it wrong, but they just cannot hear whether that beat should be.
Inside out. Yeah.
And that is just it's an experience thing. It's a listening thing. Do you find that a lot of between your various sort of genres, between let's say the blues, the rock stuff, the jazz, do you find yourself being more adaptable, having to adapt more on similar things, or is it different? Is it like, right, I'm on a jazz gig tonight, so I've really got to make sure that I'm doing this, which I wouldn't normally do on a blues gig, for example? I guess there's a bit of crossover in jazz and blues as such, but maybe the jazz and rock stuff is a bit further apart,
No, yeah, you're right. You're right to say that about the jazz and the blues stuff being similar, because we're in a, if it's a shuffle, well, we're in a world of triplets. Whether we're doing blues is jazz with a backbeat,
Well, funny enough, just on that, sorry to interrupt you, I got a set list for a gig in July, I got 2 blues gigs in July. Very much looking forward to. I got sent 22 songs in about 2 minutes the other day. I've never heard of some of them, well, quite a lot of them actually. And I just sarcastically replied to the bass player. I was like, I'll have a little look at these nearer the time. It's end of July. Can I assume that almost 90% of these are shuffles? ? Haven't got a reply, but I feel like I'm probably right.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
No, you're right. And it is that kind of what kind of shuffle. But yeah, to answer the question, in terms of how I'm adapting for those different, because I dep, in all of those genres really. What I'd say when it comes to the jazz, I'm far more aware of tempos.
Right.
And that becomes a thing of, right, so if I'm kicking, I'm counting in, and also because bearing in mind, you've also got to be aware of the arrangement, because it could. We did a song with a band I play with every month or so at this residency, and they do a song, and I was about ready to count everyone in. Do you want it like this? Oh no, we're doing it Latin. You're like, oh. So not only was it like a completely different tempo, the arrangement in terms of I'm in
basically a different song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different
Yeah,
genre. I'm playing Latin clave now, not medium swing.
yeah,
So being acutely aware of the tempo and the arrangement in terms of, well, it's going to be AABA or AABC or whatever the 34, 32, 36 bar turnaround.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So who's going to do what, and who's coming in? Are we all in? Is it just you, drums and bass on the first four turnaround, on the last four, I should say? So yeah, I'm quite aware of that's the stuff that I need to be on when it's a jazz blues gig, jazz gig. The blues stuff, I think it's whether I'm playing a shuffle or it's straight eighths or it's 12/8 or whatever it is. Again, it's more the feel and the dynamics. So how much oomph I'm putting into everything. Because if it's a real straight up shuffle, am I playing my left hand? Am I playing like a Texas shuffle? Or is it is it just a solid backbeat?
Yeah, 2/4.
Yeah, and
no ghost notes sort of thing.
No, exactly. Yeah, and how fancy, how pretty am I making it, or how down the line is it? So that's probably more. That's probably more a volume, dynamics, and how kind of reserved you want me to be as a player, or how kind of, especially because I'm playing 2 or 3 gigs. I've got 4 or 5 more actually with a trio, so it's bass, guitar, and drums. And that power trio thing, you are, because if guitarist is soloing, the bassist is carrying the melody. So it's like, well, there isn't any like piano, there isn't a rhythm guitar, so it's how much of that performance am I bringing, or how much exuberance am I playing, or am I just holding it down? So that's
filling the space, but kind of not taking it all up.
Exactly.
That's the trio, isn't it?
And how to play, not too busy, but not just play kind of flat all night. The rock stuff, I think, is probably a bit more right. So what's the ending? How are we starting it? What's the ending?
Yeah.
Are we slowing down? Are we repeating the verse? Is there a dead stop, then a trash can ending? I find the blues stuff, that finds its way there. Because normally you'll repeat the last 4, not normally, but you'll know if someone goes back to the last 4, you go, okay, we're going back to the 5 chord or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, or whatever it might be.
The endings kind of make themselves known kind of pretty quickly towards the end, aren't they? In that sense, for sure.
And they're much better at communicating, like stop here or whatever. So, and they're bands that I've perhaps learnt the set with. We've had a rehearsal, or I've gone through and charted the songs, But that,
and know the people, know the players, kind of. What they might kind of get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, I did one gig with this trio, a blues trio, and it was like their returning gig. They'd had about 5 months off through illness and not been able to find a drummer, and so it was kind of like their welcome back gig. And I happened to be the new guy in the chair for that gig. I didn't have any more in the book with them before that. It was just that one, I should say. After that, nothing after that. And they kind of introduced me, and it was like, we're welcome, we're back. So there was a bit of a crowd there. So it was all a bit more chatty throughout the evening and a bit more informal, because they had a lot of people there they knew, because they wanted to see him come back and play.
Like friends gig kind of thing,
Yeah. And I felt like it was nice and easy. It's fairly straightforward. It's not too high pressure. And then the next gig, I said to the singer and the guitarist, I said, what's the vibe for tonight in terms of, the last gig was very chatty because it was a kind of friends reunited type thing.
Yeah.
This is now in a different town with a different audience. What's the shtick? Is it you're going to be? He said, I don't know yet. I'll see what goes down after a couple of songs. I might chat quite a lot in between. We might just get stuck in. I'll count you in, or we'll go straight to the next tune. So it's almost about learning what the other players are like, personality-wise, on the stage.
Yeah.
And am I going to match that? There's no point me being Keith Moon if they both stand there staring at the shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know. You say, well, you've got to bring performance. You've got to play how you play. But we're in the service industry.
You need to be appropriate for the setting, visually and musically,
There's no point in me doing a background restaurant jazz gig and trying to be Buddy Rich.
Yeah,
Hang
yeah,
it up.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah,
Do
that's
you,
a great question though. Really interesting, kind of like think about what
mm,
what do I see change across the genres that are playing?
do you think a thing that maybe a lot of people can maybe miss out on it is adapting how to kind of read people,
Yeah,
adapting how you might kind of approach that sort of side of the playing and communicating with people,
but that's
are
that
they
thing.
quite
Yeah,
a chatty, communicative person you can have a laugh? If they are, well, that's probably how they're going to be on stage, or are they sort of quite sort of rigorous and I don't want to say firm, but do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like sort of this is how it is. So
Yeah, and I think that
yeah,
comes down to I kind of get a vibe for how they're handling the situation they're in.
yeah,
If they're feeling up against it on stage, or like they're stressed about there's no one's dancing,
mm,
or they feel like they're backed into a corner a little bit and they're a bit spiky. So
yeah,
you're having to read everyone body language
yeah,
because we're sat in the back, we see the back of everyone's head.
yeah,
So you don't know, you've got to read from the vibe, how that's all going to go. But that is so. I mean, all you are is just not eyes on stalks, but going back to I mean, I've had the same situation with kids in schools. It's like
yeah,
I played the part, yeah, but there's 4 bars left of the song,
yeah, yeah. Or
and
it's just
it's
five different tempos,
yeah, yeah.
like
It's not.
yeah,
It's not playing the part. It's
yeah,
not. This is like talking and watching other people and
mm,
being head up for when they look at you. You're available and
you're
being
ready.
available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
to
And
adapt.
you can communicate through that. I think that's another thing that you need to
Yeah,
be, adaptable at is understanding the same message communicated five different ways from five different people,
yeah,
and
yeah,
figuring
yeah,
out what those things mean because everyone has their own way of doing different things. Some people will literally come up and air, act what they want you to play with their guitar or whatever, or
yeah,
on these chords right here, whatever. You're like,
yeah.
what does that mean? Or other people can, so I think that's yeah,
Is there?
reading people in that way,
Yeah. Has there
so
only been times where you've like whether it's either through mixed messages on the same gig, or you've decided that well, I'm not going to adapt to that, and I need this. Or have you ever put your foot down in terms of either verbally or on the gig and said, "Well, I'm not going to change the tempo," or "No, I need this setup, so I'm not going to
mm,
take half my kit away to give you more room." Is there any times when you've like
yeah, definitely.
gone against, not gone against, but
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
chosen the higher ground, if you like?
I've definitely, disagreed on tempo, and sort of said no, definitely. Um, and I feel like more so that has come from, uh, from, and I think that can sometimes be a reflection of other people's situation on said gig.
Yeah,
If they're having a bad time, sometimes those comments can kind of come your way, or maybe not even just you, but to the band
yeah,
because of that, or they're not feeling something quite right, so therefore there must be something else quite wrong in the band,
yeah, yeah.
and they're struggling for whatever reason, but that's not necessarily to do with the drums or the vocalist or whatever it is.
Sure.
So there's definitely been a few times, yeah, where I've been playing like ballads or whatever, and songs that I'm very comfortable with, and I'm very much like this sounds and feels great, and then you get to like verse 2, and they're like it's a bit fast, and you're like, is it?
Yeah,
We've been playing it for nearly 2 minutes. I think that
yeah,
you would have noted, and definitely like a couple of setup stuff, whether it be, as small as, oh, we haven't got enough microphones, or we haven't got enough XLRs or inputs, so you can't have your toms in your ears, or we can't mic up the toms today. You know,
yeah,
most people will go, all right, I don't care, no big deal,
yeah,
um, which is the right answer. Would it be nice? Yeah, of course it is. Or, oh, sorry, we can't do in ears today, or we don't do in ears. You just
yeah,
got to earplug it and hope for the best.
yeah,
Or even situations where you turn up to the gig and then they go, oh, so sorry, yeah, no one else has brought hardware. We're gonna have to use yours all night, and you're like,
yeah,
great. Or maybe you go, do you know what? Actually, no, I'm sorry, you can't because I've got to go. you know.
Yeah, I've got another gig,
Sometimes yeah, exactly, you know. So most of the time it's probably been sort of tempo, or even sometimes arrangement stuff and set list stuff, you know. Even on, you know, gigs where maybe I know the band a little bit, and you know, we've been chatting about the set list, what do we want to play, does anyone want to cut this? And people say, oh, I want to cut this one, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, oh, but we'll keep that. And I go, I don't think that's a good song. You know, I'll just come chat my opinion, and, you know, I just think that song's a bit rubbish or whatever. We should do this instead, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's good to be, I think it shows that you have, you know, a professional set of skills in that way, you know, because some people will just turn up and go, all right, whatever. Or they'll have a nightmare and be like, I haven't learned it, so I couldn't possibly try and play along with superstition, you know, or whatever it is, you know. But sometimes I've had it before, where it's like, oh, do you know this song? Not really. How does it go? Had it last week on Bandioki. It's a Blues Brothers song. Do you know it? Maybe. I can't say another title. How did it go? Sing with the drum beat. I'll just go doom da doom da. Yeah, okay, fine, cool, let's do it.
Yeah. And then you go.
I'm just playing, you know.
Yeah.
And then your eyes and ears are really open, you know.
Yeah, because they know it as well as they know it. That's the thing.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, luckily the two guys that got up, they knew the whole routine and everything, so that was a pretty good bit of moment. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever talking adaptability? Because I've had info come through today for a festival gig I'm doing in July, which will be the day after the release of this episode. Actually, the Eyes Have It Festival up in Duffield. So we're, Montgomery Slacks are headlining the marquee stage on the Saturday night. And I said, look, I don't know whether do I need to bring a full kit? And I said, well, we'll get the info on the backline kit. So they've sent me through the backline. And I don't know why festivals do this or backline kits, but they always spec a 2 up, 1 down kit.
Yeah.
I'm like, could you not spec a 1 up, 2 down? Because people can play a 4-piece or they can use an extra floor tom. Yeah. And it's like, if they want a 4-piece, then now there's a tom in the way that they don't want, or they've got to play around, or they're not used to having. And if you play 2 down, well, now you've got a high tom, a mid tom that you don't, it's in the wrong place, and you want a floor tom. So that got me thinking. You took some adaptability, because I'm now in two minds, because I think it's a Tama Grand Stack. I can't remember what it said now. It's something Star, obviously.
Of course.
It's top line kit, apparently. Top line kit. But it's not a top line kit.
From 2002 or whatever.
Yeah. And it's 22, 10, 12, and 16 or something. I've got I'm like, well, it might be nice to play 22. And a little bit of me thinking, there is a question coming, I promise. A little bit of me thinking, you know, turn up, and the professional thing to do is turn up and play that kit, because it's mic'd up, the sound crew are all set with it.
Yeah, it's been there all day.
It's been there all day. I might take the high tom off and put the mid tom where the high tom is, and play 12, 16 or something, rather than 10, 16 or 10, 12, 16. But I'd really like a 14, so I might take on my kit. But in terms of adaptability, where do you find yourself coming down on that backline kit stuff? Where like, well, this is great. I'm going to just, like you say, there's a fine line between I'll just run with it, mate, and just running with it but not caring, which is too far. But also the other way, like, well, I don't want to use this kit because it sounds terrible. It's not tuned, and I'd much rather play my brand new heads on my toms than these battered old 15-year-old 2-plies, you know. So
you just digged out and there's rust on the rims. And,
and you can't adjust it and it won't tune. And so, you know,
interesting.
When does adaptability become kind of like, I'm not
like personal preference? Almost.
Or not bothered.
That's really interesting. I have, I promise this, I have never, ever played a kit with 2 up, 1 down on a gig.
Have you not?
Never. No, I cannot stand it. So I would actually just take all of the toms off.
Really?
I can't do it.
So weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's the ride. I can't go up there with it, and I'm definitely not going to go all the way out here with it.
You'd love to play my 3 up, 2 down then.
I actually really would love to play it. Excuse me. But So I will always take off that second tom,
Right.
always.
Right.
And I'll say
Yeah.
that straight away. And I've never had a sound guy get annoyed with me,
No.
ever. Because I'll just unclip the mic and then the job done, and I'll put it back on, I'll always say, I'll put it back on if you want it on. Most of the time, they also go, yeah, don't worry about it. Just, yeah, chuck it to the side. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
had anyone get, in a, uncomfortable situation, as it were. And most of the time, I would say almost all the time, depending on how much time I have, it will be the 12 and then the floor tom. I wouldn't do 10 and sort of 16 and stuff,
Yeah.
So I would go, if I was on that gig, I would go 12, 16. That's what I would
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely do. Definitely in terms of hardware. Also, if there is a backline kit, I will probably, depending on what gig it is, most of the time, if it's a festival gig and I'm just turning up, playing and probably going or hanging around, I'm going to use the backline kit because it
Yeah.
just makes everything easier. I can park, if I've got to park years away, I can just turn up with my cymbal bag, snare drum,
Yeah.
stick bag, backpack, and kick pedal if I really need it,
Yeah.
Or I probably will bring it, maybe stool if I need it. But the couple of things that are kind of more crucial to me are, I mean, I guess a thing like a kick pedal, but like a rug, a
Yeah.
mat
Yeah.
or what
Yeah.
the surface is, because I will also then bring that and sort of say, look, I'm not going to play a kit that's got no rug that's slipping around all over the place because, quite frankly, I can't do what I've come here to do. We can't have a good show,
Yeah. Yeah.
would
Oh,
you
yeah.
would you guys as sound people, work with equipment that's just slowly just getting quieter and quieter, or turning off, or constantly feeding back,
Yeah. Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
crackly cables? Like you probably wouldn't, So, luckily, again, that hasn't really happened. But more like smaller things, like cymbal sleeves on stands. If
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
turn up and there's 3 cymbal stands and 2 of them are absolutely knackered and stuff
Yeah.
with no thread or anything, I'll just do one of them. For
Yeah.
the safety of like my equipment and stuff like that, I can kind of make do, and just kind of little things like that. Where I'll just, depending on like the quality of equipment and the quality of backline, I'll
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of make the call on there. I'll give stuff a quick tune. Because usually if you do give it a quick tune and it's really badly in tune, they probably do appreciate that,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Because there's
Oh,
no way you'd hit it and it sound terrible, and they go, can you not touch the kit, please? We need to return it as is. And you're like, okay,
whatever.
these toms sound like absolute like wet paper, but fair enough.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Kind of making your job easier, but whatever. So yeah, just kind of the little details, little things like that. Really, cymbal sleeves,
Yeah.
stall if I need to bring it. Stall that's not high enough. That's a problem in itself, I guess, isn't it? Really,
Yeah. No, so I always
But
bring,
yeah,
as
what
I
about
mentioned.
you?
No, as I mentioned in the last
Yeah.
episode, it's like I'll always bring my hi hat stand with my hi hats on it.
That's a great call.
Stalled, probably my snare
Foot
drum
pedal.
stand. Yeah, foot pedal, kick pedal. So and then I might just chuck in, because they vary, because certainly Montgomery slacks I have 3 cymbals to my right because of the kind of textures I want to put in some of the songs.
Sure.
Very often backline kits will have 1 crash or 2 crash cymbals, height
Yeah,
stands,
two stands at
yeah.
most. Yeah.
So I always put stands in,
Yeah.
just to give me options. Yeah, and again, I have taken off mid toms and I'll just play 1 up, 2 down, because then I know what I'm doing. But I don't like the big step, too much of a big step between
Sure.
rack tom and kick tom, floor tom. So
Yeah.
it's and also
I can imagine that feels weirder because of your 3 up, 2 down most
yeah,
of the time sort of situation.
when I'm like
You've
8,
always got a
10,
piece missing.
8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And
Yeah.
then I've got 10, 10, 14 or 12, 16. It's
Yeah.
like, it's tuning range is just,
It's like half of the kit's missing.
yeah.
Half of the top's missing.
Yeah, but we adapt to these things. But the other thing for me is, because it's a 22 kick. I'm like, well, I've got to
Height.
adapt. I've got to adapt to the play, and also the throw on the beater potentially. So and the head tension. So it's like, well, do I just swap it all out and play with my kit? I've got plenty of I've got an hour to swap over, so the time's not the issue. It's like,
Is there anyone after you as well? I
no,
guess not. Yeah.
we're headlining.
So
So
they could probably pack it away.
yeah, I'm doing you a favour, mate. Take it off early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's that kind of, do I want all the faff to take all my gear and then be that guy that won't be adaptable in their eyes? But actually, this is my kit tuned how I want to play with my heads for my band, and we're headlining. So
Yeah.
it's that. I guess it's all in the eyes of the beholder, isn't it? In terms of you know what you do. You mean great example. You put that video up of you're playing kick, snare, and hats, and someone called "Come Together."
Oh yeah.
One of the most iconic Tom fills in musical history. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Shot myself in the foot there,
yeah. And I don't want to recount your story on your behalf, but as you said, you played it on the rim of the snare,
Yeah.
and then one of the guitarists to him, and I said, "I didn't even notice the difference."
Yeah.
You're like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Maybe it's because I was shouting, in the background.
yeah.
Or maybe he didn't know "Come Together."
Hey,
There's
that's
always
right.
that. We
Yeah,
did Nickelback afterwards there. That was really good fun, actually.
great.
That you don't need toms. It was actually really surprising the amount of songs we played. You just don't need toms
No,
for. You
yeah,
know, it was just like it's really fun, and it really makes you think about what you are playing. It does
yeah.
make you adapt.
I heard
You know.
an interview with Jojo Mayer many years ago, and he says I mean,
He did
literally,
that for a while, didn't he?
yeah, he went into a
Yeah.
room, and he says it just made me be musically creative with
Mm.
with the hats, the kick, and the snare. That's all I had,
Yeah.
and he said it took everything else away just to make me adapt to that kind of what can I produce with the sounds in front of me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, Steve, Steve Jordan always talks about, the sort of hypnosis of groove and stuff like that.
yeah,
And you really aren't distracted by anything. Yes, you could probably crash every like 8 bars or whatever. That could kind of get annoying, as it, but you're
yeah,
still in that cycle of the groove and stuff like that. And obviously that doesn't really work for everything all the
yeah.
time. For certain genres and stuff, but especially for blues stuff and I guess even jazz stuff to some degree.
Well,
Just
yeah.
really
Case in,
solid.
I was going to say, case in point, in jazz, you're just playing time. And
Yeah,
you might comp a bit with your left hand, but you
yeah,
couldn't call them fills.
yeah,
And it's not like you're going digga 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 digga. You're not playing Made in Dagenham.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
He also talked about as well, not to derail the whole conversation to talk about Steve Jordan, but I could.
yeah, yeah,
He also talked about recently where he was doing a take for a song that everyone was just so locked in, and it was like the take,
yeah,
and he dropped a stick, so he just played the rest of the take. It was early on, and he just played the rest of the take with one stick, and he was like, it was so good, I considered doing the rest of the album therefore, like further on with just one drumstick, because
really,
I didn't have the ability to be distracted. I couldn't do a fill even if I wanted to,
yeah,
apart
yeah,
from like a little dut dut, whatever it is, like
yeah, yeah,
just couldn't. And I was like, that's another level of like commitment. And it was on
yeah.
my mind on a gig recently, and I think it was during like Dancing Queen or something like that, and I just played like all of the verses with just one hand, and I
Right.
mean, did it make really much of a difference? I don't really know,
No.
but it was really interesting to just really like play and almost like out of body, just kind of just sit back and listen to everything else that was going
Yeah,
on,
cool, man. Yeah,
get out
great.
my own way,
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. It's all there for the taking, isn't it? You've got
Mm,
to put yourself in the situation. So I think we'll wrap up. But
mm,
have you got like one or two tips of things that you would advise if people want to think about going out and doing other stuff and what they should look for if they want to start depping, perhaps, or
mm,
they've been playing a while, but they're like, I might go and do a work with another band.
mm.
What we suggest people are doing in terms of being accepting of adaptability.
I think definitely, well, first of all, if you're not playing with lots of different people, try and do that, because
Yeah,
that will make you adaptable. um I think being able to read and communicate with people and almost communicate the same things but figure out how people do that differently, I
yeah,
think that will make you a lot more adaptable from gig to gig,
yeah,
because you can then almost start to see what you might get asked to do or what is coming or this, that, and the other in a song before it even happens, and you can
yeah,
just
yeah,
anticipate it, then not anticipate it as in like in an anxious way,
yeah,
but you can just be like, in your sort of mind's eye, be like, we're probably going to go to a solo now. We're probably going to pick it up. So what
yeah,
should I do?
yeah, yeah,
Or we're probably going to end on that recurring phrase that we keep tagging at the end of the chorus,
yeah,
or whatever it is. You could apply that to so many different things across, from when you
yeah,
get to a
yeah,
gig to when you leave. But I think just getting out there and just playing with loads of different people, loads of different abilities, loads of different band lineups, loads of different types of music, an indie function band, a funky function band, a poppy sort of band, an originals band, depth with originals music on an originals gig, you know, all that sort of stuff, different venues. I think just being able to just get a taste of all of it, have all your fingers in the pies,
definitely.
will only make a bit. And then when you get back to playing with your band, all of a sudden you're like, this is great. This is easy. I'm in control here, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And you've just got the confidence behind you then.
No, definitely. Yeah, no, I think I just all of that. I think just the wider thing in terms of approach those gigs, or you know, think like a musician, not like a drummer.
Yeah.
Think about how that's going to sound musically, rather than I'm going to play this because we don't,
Yeah. Can't wait to show the sick feel that I've just learned.
No,
sort of thing.
No guitarist going to turn around to say, "Well, did you play a paradiddle then?" No one cares. Honestly, we get so caught up in our own language of all of that kind of technicality and the name of everything, but you don't do that on the gig, and musicians are not thinking about that in the moment. So eyes up, think about what's serving. Yeah, exactly. And what's serving the music that you're presenting in that moment. That's definitely what I would think about you doing. But
yeah, I think also just to add to that as well, like be a yes, be a yes man, as it were. But not everyone, I think, always says be a yes man in terms of take every gig you can, but be a yes man in terms of everything, you know. Oh, would you mind helping set up the PA? Would you mind putting the drum mics on? Would you mind doing this, that, and the other? Whatever it is, you know, or can you just go out the front and can you just look at the iPad and whatever it is, you know, just get all that experience, you know. I know I'm a lot of the gigs that I'm on, I'm bringing my own gear, like in terms of mics, I'm micing up the kit, I'm, you know, helping with PA setups and stuff like that. I'm more now on depth gigs than just turn up and play the drums, you know. And I think that you're seen in such a better light, you know, because if you turn up and you balls up a couple of songs, it doesn't really matter.
No, because you've done the groundwork.
You've done the groundwork, yeah, you know, and you're asking probably the right questions, and you're chatting and you're hanging out and whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, man.
So say yes to doing a lot of the extra bits, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Book your own depths, all that sort of stuff as well, you know. All that sort
of stuff. Take responsibility.
You know?
Yeah. Well, lots to adapt and lots to think about, but yeah, definitely kind of get out and play with more people, because that's where, you know, we can be intelligent behind the drums. We know what we're doing with our drum kit, but the wisdom comes from experience and comes from feedback, comes from being in those situations. So
learning the lessons.
Yeah, definitely, man. Cool. Nice one, man. Good. Hey. Thanks for that.
Enjoyed that.
And we managed 57 minutes without Jay here. Imagine how long it had been if we'd had Jay as well. But we didn't think we'd quite chat that long. But we do get excited about talking to each other, don't we, about stuff like this.
We should hear. So I'm sure he's probably got some genius for us as well. So maybe we'll tag that in next week.
We'll give Jay
We'll chuck his 15 minutes at the end.
We'll do his right to reply in the next episode. But this has been episode 82, I want to say. 82 with myself, Matt, and Harry. Jay will be back with us hopefully for the next one in a few weeks.
Couple weeks time.
Yeah, this will be out on. Thank you for listening. If you're on day of release, it's now the 3rd of July. This episode will be out on YouTube the following Friday, the 10th, where you can see all what we look like and where we're sitting and all the nitty gritty that does quite make the edit when Harry does the edit for what we're putting out on the podcast. Please follow us along with us on Instagram at Count Us In Podcast. We'd like to see you there. Send us a wave, send us a comment, put a comment or question, answer under any of the questions you've heard today. What are your perspective on all of that? Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can send us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Count Us In Podcast. And that's all the admin done, I think, isn't it? We're done.
That's the list. Yeah.
Yeah. So go out there, be adaptable, think about things you might want to be uncomfortable for a little bit, try different setups, go and play with different people, think about the questions you should ask before a gig, and clarify who's defining what the tempo is.
You'll save yourself a lot of frustration in the long run.
On that note, always good to chat, Harry. Thanks, man.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you all.